Hey everybody, it's Ashley Needles, and I figured I would talk a little bit about what it's like going from child-free to having a kid, the changes, the brain things, what it's all like. So before I had my little girl, obviously I had this one, and she is not a fan of the little one, but she's getting better with her. It's taking time, but we're working through the differences. At the moment, she hides from my daughter. Yeah. My daughter is 3.5 months, and my little monkey hides from her, which is really funny. Um, so I made a video talking about Nesha, and I haven't made one talking about Ryu, but I will. So Ryu's Japanese for dragon, and Nesha is short for Ganesha, which is, a Hindu goddess, or Hindu god, excuse me. And anyway, I'm trying to teach my little one about the world and stuff. So, child-free life is great. It's very fulfilling. And, they sit there and say you'll never know love like a parent knows when you're child-free and blah, blah, blah. All this stuff. Well, it's crap. Like, I love my daughter. I love my dog. I loved the father of my child. It really is about who you are, not what you have in your life, on your ability to love what's in your life. Yes, I love my daughter in a different way than I've loved before, but it's not like I wouldn't be able to understand it. If Messi had been helpless and harder to take care of and, needed me more, she would have gotten that same love from me because it's our capacity to love that defines us, not what we have, what we do love. When we stretch our capacity to love by caring and patience and by empathizing with those around us, that's what it's about. I hated it how parents are like, "Oh, you'll never know what it's like." And it's like, really? Okay, well, now I'm a parent. Um, and even though I was very fulfilled living my child-free life, I'm glad I'm a mom. I love my little girl. We bonded, and, things are good. She's like a very cool kid, very chill baby. I lucked out. Like, seriously, part of the reason I didn't want to have kids is because I was like, I don't want something that screams all night. She doesn't scream all night. I didn't want something that, threw tantrums and was hard to deal with and unmanageable. And most kids are like that. And she probably will be when she gets two, because that's when they assert their independence. But right now, she's a really chill baby. I've had fun. I'm having fun. I really enjoy her. But that's not trying to say that people who don't want kids should, have kids. I totally don't believe that. I think the world's extremely overpopulated. My daughter was a fluke. I wasn't supposed to be able to get pregnant. I was taking precautions, and I was supposed to get a hysterectomy actually, but COVID canceled it, and I got a baby. So things are meant to be. She was meant to be in my life, and I'm very glad she's here. Um, but how people talked about parenting before I became a parent, I just had to shut up and listen because I wasn't a parent. Well, now I'm a parent. I can be like, you guys were cuckoo off your freaking blocks, but whatever. Um, when you're a parent, you care for somebody. You care for every single thing that they need. Then the child, because my baby was an IUGR baby, she couldn't quite spit up when she was like, even when she was laying on her back or whatever. And you're supposed to have babies on back so they don't suffocate. But she was she struggled with that. She struggled with spitting up and things, and so I had to be very careful with her for the first month or two until she started being like a normal baby. Um, and she's fine now, but it took a little while for her to get there. And taking care of her, of course, that is going to make you bond to something, that smiles when it sees you because it knows you're there to take care of it. It's happy every time you're around because it knows that you are the thing that makes everything okay. You're the person that makes everything okay in its life. Of course you want that and you love it. And yes, there's the hormone things. I'm breastfeeding. I have the prolactin going. No, I didn't give vaginal birth, so I don't know what that's like. I don't know what changes that take place in the brain because of that. I unfortunately, because my baby was IUGR, had to get an urgent C-section. The doctor called it. He's like, it's close to being an emergency at this point, but not quite. So we're just going to call it urgent, and you're at the head of the line because, your daughter could die. So I got put to the head of the line of in this huge city of thousands of hundreds of thousands of people. I should see how many people are in that city. Hold on a second. Where's my mouse? There it is. I had the best doctor when I gave birth. Okay, so it has 2.5 million people. We'll call it that, okay? So, because obviously I'm not going to give exactness with, being online of stuff. But I gave birth in a city of 2.5 million people. Gave birth at one of the biggest hospitals there, one that was specifically a maternity hospital, a dedicated maternity hospital. And I I did that because I'm like, my daughter may need NICU because she has IUGR. She went from the 80th percentile to the 8th percentile. So I had a suspicion she would need a NICU, even though my OBGYN did not tell me that. In fact, my prenatal OBGYN, I should say, was terrible. Like the worst doctor I have ever had in my entire life. She was just beyond bad, wouldn't listen to me about anything, took offense to everything I said. It was great, great, great. But when I went to this hospital and I transferred my care over just to give birth, because I'm like, it has a NICU, a level 5 NICU, my daughter's probably going to need that. I had the best doctor I've ever had to give birth with. So if it hadn't been for that doctor, I would not have gotten a C-section. I would have been like, I don't believe you. BS. Go away. But he was very kind, understanding, patient, caring. It was just like, yes. It's like, if I weren't having a baby right now, I'd have your baby. But yeah, I was just amazed at the compassion that person showed me. Very good person. Whereas my prenatal doctor was just, yeah, don't ever go to her. I specifically went to a woman because I was like, a woman doctor would be, my partner wanted me to go to a female doctor. I'm like, it doesn't matter to me, so whatever. But my first doctor was actually a guy, but he was giving me intravaginal ultrasounds every time I went, and that really bothered my partner. So he's like, please change doctors because this bothers me. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I changed doctors. And I went to this lady doctor who didn't do any intravaginal stuff, and she was just mean as all get out. So that was great. She's just horrible. I'm like, this is fun, yay! And then I gave birth with a third doctor that I'd never met before, and who was such a sweetheart and a doll. And I mean, it took me like. I went in. They're like, okay, you're having complications. We're gonna have to induce, and then they induced, and then like, okay, this is causing more complications. We're gonna have to give you a C-section thing. But it was a period of like 2-3 days, I think, that I got to deal with this, that I had this doctor in my life who would come and consult with me and gave me all this love and, care and answered all my questions patiently. So I had a really good doctor for like 3 days. Seriously, kid you not. Um, Okay, it was probably only 2 days, but then the follow-up care, I'm including that. He's like, are you sure you're okay? Because I was crying during my C-section, even though I couldn't feel anything. It wasn't painful. It was just, this is not the birth I wanted to give. And I was so scared that because I was giving this birth and I hadn't chosen I hadn't chosen adoptive parents and whatnot, that I wouldn't love my daughter. Like I was terrified of not getting that oxytocin high of, that basically heroin high that you get as a parent. Um, and so I was afraid I wouldn't love her. And at first, I didn't quite bond with her. I actually resented her to begin with because her father and I weren't together, and it was her father's fault, but I couldn't be there for him, though he was suicidal and depressed. And I don't know if it was Kuvad or what was going on, but anyway, when I got to my third trimester, he just kind of lost. So it was very sad because he's a very sweet, wonderful person, and he's getting help right now. He's doing residential treatment, but I couldn't be there and support him. And I came to a point where I was sitting there trying to email him because he was suicidal, and my daughter's sitting there crying and screaming at me, and I needed to comfort her, and I had to make a choice. Who was my priority? My daughter or her father? And I had to choose my daughter at that point because, I was all right, well, if he kills himself, he kills himself, and I just have to deal with the consequences because she needs me. So that was a very hard choice, and it was not fun to make, but I made it, and I'm tough. She has a very strong mother. She may not have lucked out in a lot of ways getting me as a mom, but one thing she did luck out on is I am so tough. I have been through so much. There is not much that gets under my skin anymore. So I'm pretty much patient with her all the time. She's never okay. I have never lost patience with her, no matter how she screamed or cried or whatever. I have just, been kind and calm and sweet with her. And I'm like, all right, I'm not a half bad mom. Huzzah me. Yay. I'm doing good with this. Of course, she's a really good baby, so, that helps. But, that's kind of what's been going on, transitioning from child free to mom. Going from, yeah, I'm good not having kids in my life, the world's overpopulated, blah, 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 to now this child in my life is my everything, and it's it's wonderful. I love waking up to her and seeing her smile and being like, good morning. And she is the strangest kid. At 2 months, she was saying river and arm and hi and yeah. She doesn't do that as much now, but she was really trying to copy me, and now I copy her more and stuff, trying to get that back. But yeah, she's like, River. I say, River. I was pointing at the television because I had the soft music playing with the landscapes going across the TV for her during her fussy time. Because she gets fussy every single day at one point, just in the evening. That's it. And apparently that's a developmental thing because it's like, it shows that they know that night's coming and that they're going to have to go to sleep type of thing. But anyway, so she's being a little bit fussy. So I had the music playing and that. And I'm like, that's river, that's mountains, that's blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and so I say river for like the fifth time. And she's like, river? I'm like, you're 2 months old and you're talking? WTF. That's crazy. That's insane. You are my daughter. Uh, she looks nothing like me, in my opinion. She totally looks like her dad's side of the family. But I mean, she's just a beautiful little girl. And she looks a little like my sister Heather. So, um, but I don't see myself in her. Somebody else does, like saw me growing up, who, when I had my little pixie cut, because they always cut my hair in a pixie cut, and I hated it. I hated having a pixie cut growing up. I'd always tell them, do something crazy to my hair. I don't care. Just do something crazy to the people who cut my hair, and they'd always give me a pixie cut. And it always looked just terrible on me. They always thought it would look really cute on me because I have like this angular face from here on out, but this is what it did to me. Like cut my face all weird. It never worked. So like it made my cheekbones disappear and stuff. I hated it. Everybody always thought I was a boy whenever I had a pixie cut. A pixie cut. Pixie. That's supposed to sound feminine. No, no, no. On me, I just looked. I literally looked like I could have been Jonathan Taylor Thomas's twin when I had a pixie cut growing up. I got confused for a boy all the time. Yeah, it was no fun. Um, yeah. Luckily, I grew up and I, got all feminine looking, but I looked like a little boy. Thanks, Mom. It didn't help that, I was always running around in jeans and stuff and a mess and never cared about my hair or what I was wearing. So it was partly my fault, partly because I just was not into fashion. I was just like, I wanted horses and I wanted to ride horses. I wanted to play in the field, didn't want to watch from the bleachers. I was just very much a kid that just wanted to brave everything. Except for when I was around my cousins, my Hanson cousins. I was always like, no, no, I'll watch, I'm good, because they were just crazy daredevils, and I knew anytime I played with them, I'd get hurt. So I'm like, nah, you guys go do it. But other than that, I was always into the fray, which was fun. So her father's been writing me letters. It's like, hey, sweetheart, or sweetheart, hey, gorgeous, how are you? And our little girl. Anyway, he just writes me and stuff right now from his treatment while he's getting treatment, which is very nice. Hopefully he'll be good. Maybe we'll work through things, but no matter what happens, it's just important that I support him and I'm there for him so he can be a good dad, is how I feel about it. It's like, even if he ends up like not wanting to be with me or we end up not wanting to be together for whatever reason, I just want him to be a part of our daughter's life and be able to be there for her. So I support him in getting help for his mental health. Help for his mental health. That is a tongue twister. Yeah, so life is really good. I've been very blessed with my little girl, and I'm very happy with her. And this little girl is not very happy with her. Huh? You're not happy with your sister. No, not even a little. No. You're like, sisters suck, huh? That's what you think. You think sisters suck. She's off with a babysitter right now because I had an interview for a stay-at-home job position. Because I took a course called Pre-Hired, which you can get a lot cheaper, the same stuff on LinkedIn. There's a LinkedIn course for SaaS sales, so if you're going to do it, do SaaS. I should recommend you do pre-hired because then I'd get a discount, but it's way too expensive for what it is. And again, the LinkedIn training is just the same, so go ahead and do that. If you decide that you want to be a stay-at-home mom and you just suddenly end up knocked up and your life changed and you're like, crap, I have to grow up now. The other thing I'm doing is still the iInsure.me. So it's car insurance, property insurance. If you're interested, yeah, it's a lot of fun. To just be building a residual income because I want to be able to retire for my daughter before she's 5, so that way she can remember me being there for her growing up. So if you're interested in helping out a single mom and you want to change your car insurance, or if you want to change your career and want to become a car insurance salesperson, just saying, I'd really appreciate it. You need to come over here because this is my good side. So the camera needs to see my good side. So when you go over there, it's not my good side. So we'll get to toys. Where is it? There we go. The toys over there. So you can sit over here. Yeah. I'm so excited for my daughter to get back. I miss her so much. She's only been gone for like 30 minutes, but anyway. Hi. You're not excited, huh? You're like, make her stay gone, huh? But if I'm showering and the baby cries or whatever, Messie's like, go take care of the baby now. It's funny. She's really on top of it. And if anybody comes near the baby when I'm like, off doing other stuff, she barks at them. And she's like, you stay away. I'm letting my master know that you are near my sister and I will bite your ankles. So she's sort of getting protective of the baby, but she's not fully bonded to her. She still like will growl at her if the baby touches her, or she's never snapped at her, but she does get growly. She's like, ugh, don't let that thing touch me. She's like, it takes away all my attention. Huh? It gets all the attention that should go to you. Yeah. Anyway, so my little girl's doing good. I'm doing good. Messie's doing good. I will post a link below if you're interested in checking out iInsure.me, because I would love some more people to do it with me. I really would. Yeah. And if you do it with me, hey, we'll like get to meet and stuff. We'll get to like meet at events and hang out. Yeah, that's one of the things I loved about doing Empower Network was meeting people and doing the late night coffee and staying up all night talking. And yeah, I miss it. I miss the people, anyway, not that. You guys know if you're familiar with my channel and my life, which is everywhere. Not that I posted a lot of it, but if you were familiar, if you were there, you saw a lot of it. Yeah, but I do miss meeting a lot of people and hanging out with them and whatnot. And I would love my daughter to like experience those big events and get to see me shine, get to see me walk up on stage and get a big huge check and be like, "That's my college fund, yay!" So I'm working towards it. Yeah, I want my daughter to be happy and admire me for being strong and independent and cool and whatnot. I want her to believe that she can do anything with her life. And so I've got to reach my potential so she feels inspired to reach her potential is the deal. There's a lot of pressure that comes with having a child because you're like, oh, now I have to be a better version of myself. It's like I loved me before. I was very happy with myself, and now it's like, dang it, I have to be even better than that. But it's worth it. It's worth it because you want, like, I view parenting as the opportunity to help another person fully reach her potential or his potential. I have a girl, so her potential. But yeah, like one of the things I say to her is like, "Oh, it looks like you got a little dream in your eye. I see a little wild dream right there. You better close your eyes and catch it." And I plan on continuing that for when she grows up because I want to teach her, to sleep good and to follow her dreams and all these different things. And I'm trying really hard to be a good parent. I may not have planned to be a parent, but now that I am one, it's like I want to be the best parent I can possibly be. And so I thought a lot about like what parenting is during my pregnancy and how I wanted to parent during that time. And I went through tons of books on pregnancy, and now I'm doing books on parenting and apps on parenting, which the apps on parenting, oh my gosh, if you want a personal development course, you should really get some apps on parenting. There's this one, the Happy Child or whatever. I love it. It's like an entire course of like how to be a great person. And I'm just like, I love this. This is awesome. This is better than all the personal development stuff I went through. So like even if you aren't a parent, you should probably go through this stuff because it's cool if you're into like, having healthy, good relationships anyway, which I don't know anybody who isn't. So anyway, I've talked a lot. It's been 21 minutes and 44 seconds. So, you guys have a great day, and hopefully, you get to go snorkeling or scuba diving or do something fun and adventurous this week. Because, yeah, take life by the horns. Have a great day.